are hurting badly economically up in the air.
We have no choice. If the Capitol physician says that recommends that we not come back, then we have to take that guidance in the interest of the safety of the people who work here, the custodians in the building, those who have to be here.
Let's bring in Ohio Congressman and Ranking Member of the House Oversight Committee, Jim Jordan. Congressman, always good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to be with you. You bet.
All right, so do you agree with that decision? I mean, we kind of all remember the image last week of you showing up for the stimulus vote, no mask, made a few headlines for that. So do you think that the threat was still enough to keep members of Congress from returning to Washington?
Sandra, states are reopening. Why won't Congress? I mean, look, farmers are planting crops, truckers are moving goods, grocers are stocking shelves, and frontline healthcare workers have never stopped work. They've been working every single day throughout this crisis. But somehow the U.S. Congress can't come back to work. I mean, we got task force meeting in the White House. I'm on one of these task force meeting all over the country. But the task force that's supposed to meet and deal with big issues that confront our nation is the United States Congress. So let's get back in session. And in fact, we did that last week. I testified in the hearing you're describing. So we can do it. I don't know why we're not back doing the work of the American people. It seems like that's exactly where we should be. But unfortunately, Nancy Pelosi won't call us back.
All right, we will take that as you disagree with that decision to not return to D.C. So, Congressman, as far as this fourth round of stimulus, this is largely being debated now. The questions over whether or not there will be bipartisan support for another relief package. Where do you stand?
Well, the best stimulus is to go back to work. The best phase 4 is to go back to work, and we're seeing states do that. So, I mean, look. We've already spent $3 trillion, and that was necessary because when local governments, state governments tell business owners you can't engage in your livelihood, you can't run your business, you have to deal with that. You have to help families and have to help small business owners. But the best approach now is let's simply go back to work, and we're seeing states begin to do that. Our state's beginning to do that. Let's do that as quickly as possible. That's the best stimulus. That's the best bailout. That's the best phase 4. Go back to work. So we'll see what may happen as we go. But I hope we can just get back to work and get our economy up and running again.
So as far as you stand today, fourth round of stimulus not needed, just reopen the government. That's what you want to see.
That is by far the best approach. And when I talk to the folks I get the privilege of representing in the 4th District, I was talking to some business owners this morning. That's what they want to see. In fact, remember, so many businesses were deemed essential, they've never shut down. So let's let the rest of the economy open up, follow the same processes, same protocols, same procedures. Let's let them open up and run their business. That is the best stimulus. That's the best phase 4.
Well, Nancy Pelosi and Democrats are taking issue with Mitch McConnell suggesting at the state level bankruptcy for some states that were already hurting before this happened rather than receiving federal funds. Here's Nancy Pelosi taking on that suggestion.
This support for state and local is bipartisan among the mayors and among the governors, county officials, and the rest. Yet, Speaker McConnell says the states should go bankrupt.
Chuck Schumer has also taken on that idea, saying that if that happens, there's going to be massive layoffs at the state and local levels unless we get them federal funds quickly. Do you agree with Mitch McConnell on that?
Mitch McConnell is stating the facts. The whole country knows that certain states like Illinois, California, New York had problems with their budget, had long-term problems with their budget picture prior to this crisis. So Mitch McConnell just stating the facts. I agree with what the Senate Majority Leader said. Look, we want to help, and we've been doing that. But the best way we can help, and I keep coming back to this, Sandra, is let's let the economy open back up. Let's open things up. Let people go back to work. Let this great economy that was humming along at an amazing pace prior to this crisis, let's get that back in action. Let's start the great American comeback. That's what we need. Mitch McConnell was just stating the facts. The taxpayers of Ohio shouldn't have to bail out the taxpayers of California for all the problems they've had over the years. And California now use this crisis as the reason they're going to get taxpayer dollars from the rest of the country. So I think Mitch McConnell was just stating something that we all sort of know. And again, the best stimulus, the best phase 4, back to work.
Congressman, you've obviously put a lot of thought into this because this is an incredible balance that members of Congress have had to think about reopening these states and the risks involved and obviously the benefits economically. So are you suggesting a sharp return to the economy we had before this pandemic hit?
Well, I hope so. I mean, look, I think as we start to go back, remember, our economy, as the president said, under President Trump's leadership, our economy was humming along. We had the lowest unemployment. We had, just things were moving in a great direction. Let's get back to that as quickly as we can. So states are starting to do that. I hope that continues at that pace as quickly as possible. What I also hope is that as we're getting back, we can make sure that this focus that we've seen over the last several weeks, this focus on people's liberties, that's protected as well. I thought the Attorney General put out a great memo just 2 days ago saying he's instructed the Civil Rights Division to look at threats to liberty across the country. So this is a big concern as well, and all the more reason why we need to get back to normal as quickly as we can.
Well, that Paycheck Protection Program, we're already getting word that next round is already drying up. So there's big demand for that. So we'll see where all this goes next. Congressman Jim Jordan, great to catch up with you this morning. Thanks for your time.
You bet. Thank you, Sandra.
All right.